The Dream SMP has a 3 canon life rule, which means if you die 3 times in the storyline, you are dead forever. So today let's take a look at every single canon death there was on the server. Now Punk was killed by Awesome Dude after attempting to steal some of the keycards for Pandora's Vault, and as mentioned has only lost 1 life. Along with Fundy, who has also only lost 1 life, and was killed by George in the final control room during the L'Manberg War for Independence on August 2nd, 2020. Skeppy was also killed once after accidentally being pushed into lava by Bad Boy Halo during the whole Egg saga. Slimesicle was also pushed into lava by Purpled, losing 1 canon life. Amesy was recently pushed off the Prime Path by Tubbo, making her lose 1 of her lives. Foolish was brutally executed by Antfrost at the Red Banquet during the Egg saga, along with Antfrost being killed by Captain Puffy at the Red Banquet. Quackity was killed by Technoblade in the Quackity vs Technoblade duel, and also whilst editing this, when Technoblade goes to assassinate Tubbo, Quackity does die as well, along with J-Schlatt. Now this apparently counts as a canon life for J-Schlatt, but nobody has mentioned that it counts for Quackity. So I'm going to stick Quackity still on the 1 life loss because that's what everybody says, but again he dies there as well, so I'm not too sure. Awesome Dude was killed by Dream in Pandora's Vault, and Carl died in an explosion to try and frame Eric. All the people we've just mentioned have only lost 1 life. Moving on to the people who've died twice, we have Tubbo. Tubbo was killed by Sapnap in the final control room in the war for L'Manberg's independence, and was also executed by Technoblade on Schlatt's command. And the only other person to have ever died twice is also Dream, and Dream was killed twice by Tommy during the final fight, in which Tommy and Tubbo tried to get the discs back. Tommy wanted Dream to feel at risk, so he planned to kill him 3 times, but was also told that they can just store Dream in the prison, making it so Tommy only killed him twice. Which also means that Dream and Tubbo are currently the only people who have lost 2 canon lives right now. So let's move on to the people who have died 3 times or 3+ times. Starting with Laserbeam and Vicstar. From what we know from Dream's lore video, they were both repeatedly killed over and over again and brought back to life with the revive book, meaning that they probably lost all 3 of their canon lives, but could also have lost tons more because of being revived. For all we know, they could have 50 deaths, but we've never really gotten an exact count for that. And the next person to have died 3 times is Rambo. Now one of the deaths you'll definitely remember because when Technoblade and Rambo went to go and break Dream out, Rambo was kept hostage by Awesome Dude and eventually murdered. But the 2 other deaths that he has, I believe, were all caused during Enderwalk stages. I've looked around on Twitter for some exact deaths that people mentioned, but there's not many clips that go along with it. But for him to be a ghost right now and fully dead, he'd either have to have only 1 life or had died 3 times, and I assume he has died 3 times, just we didn't get to see the other 2. Wilbur has also died 3 times, once by puns in the final control room, again by puns on Schlatt's orders, and then finally killed by Filzer once he had blown up the entirety of L'Manberg. These 3 deaths were quite big because I believe Wilbur was the first person to ever lose 3 canon lives, which also brought in the whole aspect of people dying and becoming a ghost. He then turned into Ghost Boo and eventually was revived by Dream after being stuck next to him in the prison cell. J-Schlatt was killed by Technoblade in the Manberg Festival and was also killed by Quackity. And J-Schlatt's final and 3rd life was caused by a heart attack during the Big War, turning him into a ghost but never actually being revived. And finally we have Tommy Innit, who has also died 3 times. He was killed by Dream twice in the war for L'Manberg's independence, but was also killed by Dream whilst they were stuck in the prison. He's also been brought back and was revived quite quickly afterwards, meaning that he can lose more than 3 canon lives right now. And you may be wondering, some people on this list should have lost tons more lives than they actually have, and I sort of thought the same thing. From all the wars and the festival and more, so many people have died in them, you would think that they would all lost a canon life, and well, they haven't. A lot of the times when people do lose a canon life, they'll specify that they have lost one, or it will be a sort of planned event where the 2 people involved planned for one of them to lose a canon life. So when Technoblade turns around and fires a bunch of rockets at the whole crowd, many of them die, but they don't lose a canon life, as it isn't really a necessary life to lose, if you get what I mean. It's quite hard to explain as there are so many different rules, and some people have died and lost a canon life, and other people have died and not lost one, that it gets a bit confusing, but I hope you understand what I mean. And all the lives on this list have been counted by the community and are stored on the Dream SMP SMP wiki, so if you want to check that out, there's a link in the description. But what's also more interesting is Ranboo's secret book. Now, if you want to learn more about that and read through it, then check out the video which is on screen.